Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne, and what better way to end this week with the Agora models release, a build the Lamborghini Miura Pack 3. Hey, I just want to let you all know that you can now find my merchandise store by clicking on the store tab on the front page of my YouTube channel. Now you know this is one of my favourite builds at the moment, and you can see that through some of the detail that we have got on the engine here. And it's the engine that we're going to be continuing doing in this stage. Now, if you want to get this for yourself, I have put the link in the video description. You can get this all the way from pack 1. But I just want to jump into this because I can't wait to see exactly what we're actually doing today. So without further ado, let's get cracking. Okay, so this build is all going to start with stage 16. That's where we're up to. We're going to be disassembling the left air filter box, and we're going to be fitting some petrol pipes. Once again, everything is individually wrapped in its bags there. So I'm going to be taking the air filter box cover like this, and then once again, I've got these screws to go in the top. Although they're not screws, they look like screws, but you just have to push them into the holes here. So let's get one in. And then push, quite a hard push, so that they look like that when they're in. We did this on the other side, and we're actually just making another one now. And there we go. That's all 3 of those in place. Okay, so we've got the box cover here, which is going to go on this way round, and we're just going to press it onto these 4 lugs that we've got there. So line everything up, and it can only go on one way. If you try to put it on the wrong way, it won't fit. So I'm going to put the bottom one in first, and then all the other ones. Just like this. And there we go. That's in. Excellent. And that's 2 of those now that we've completed. Put them to one side. And I want to get these petrol pipe fittings off the sprue here. So just get these out. I've got my sprue cutters. So I'm going to make sure I cut these exactly where they need cutting. 1, 2, 3. Oops, that just pinged off. Don't worry, I've got it here. That was almost dangerous. And just get this one off as well. Bring over the right cylinder head that we worked on last time. We're going to be actually putting one of these petrol pipes into place. Before I do that though, I'm going to be opening up these extensions for the pipes, and as you see, we've got a short one, and if it comes out the bag, I've got a long one there. And it's the short one that I'm going to want first, and that's just going to go into the end of this section here. Hopefully it's a tight fit. This is just basically a tube. It's like a rubber tube, as you can see. Then I'm going to push that into the engine that we've created, just into these 4 holes here on the carburetors. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then just push them all the way in. Excellent. So now that looks like that, and I can put that to one side. Bring over the left cylinder head now, which looks like that, and once again, so just going to put these into position like we did on the other side there. So when they're in, they look just like that. Take the petrol pipe, and this time I've put the longer extension on the end. And in a similar way to what we just did previously, I'm just going to push these onto the carburetors. So now that looks brilliant, doesn't it? That looks like that, and that's all there is to do in that stage. So in stage 17, we're going to start constructing the main body of the engine now. And the first thing I want is the left cylinder head, which looks just like that. So having it this way round, this being the left side, this being the right side, I'm going to take the left cylinder head, and that's just going to go on top. As you see, we've got some lugs at the bottom here, on top into this section like this, held in from the underside with these size A screws, which I have got here. So I put that in loose at the moment, just so I can get this lined up. Now I have used oil on this because this is going to be needed to be put in really tight. So I'm using my bigger screwdriver. And that's got him perfect. And there you go. That's in place. Nice and solid there. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. The distributors go towards the same side. So this is going to fit on just like that. Once again, size A screws to get these in. Here's the second one. Make that nice and tight. And there you go. It looks really good, doesn't it? Okay, so we're just going to be putting these air filter boxes on now. Now I've already put one on. We have got these holes here. They're just going to go on top of the, oh look, screw stuck to my thing, onto the metal parts in between here. So that the flaps here are facing the inside. So I'm just going to line this one up like this. And then push this on. Perfect. So that should look like that. And that is all there is to do in that stage. Now in stage 18 here, we're going to start doing the gearbox. So I'll get all these parts out. So the first things I need are the housing cap and the left differential cover, which looks like this. This is the housing cap here. Got some lugs at the bottom. Just going to line them up and push this into place. That leaves this nice D-shaped hole just into the side there. I'm going to turn this over, and then I've got the differential body here to go in, and that I believe is just going over the top like this. Perfect. And then on top of that, we've got the right differential cover just going on this side, and again this is just a push in, no screws needed here, just like that. So I've got the transmission housing here, and this is just going to go into that section here. If you look on the bottom, we've got a locating lug, and it's going to go this way round with this section pointing towards here. Just get that lined up, just like that. It's actually holding itself in, but even though it's a nice clip and holding itself in, they still want us to put some screws in there just to keep that into place. We've got some B screws here, so just 2 underneath here. You know what? These bags come in so handy, so I'm saving all of these. So bringing the engine back over, turning it upside down just like this so that the distributors are facing me. This is going to be going onto this side of the engine. So what I do is I'm going to put these 2 holes here and line them up underneath this section just like that. Making sure it's all in nice and smooth, which it is. And once again, they're going to be held in with the type B screws. So one there. And one on the other side here. Excellent. Now, keeping it upside down just like that, I'm going to take the lower engine crankcase, and that looks like that there. And this is just going to go on top of this section just like that. You see it fits lovely in there. But that's going to be held in with some type A screws, and they're going through just these holes at the top here. So one in here, nice and tight, excellent, and then just one in the other side. This is a lovely engine. Make sure that's nice and flush in there. You saw that pop into place there. And you know that because you've got a nice fine line along this side. But that is all there is to do in that stage. So stage 19, we're going to be fixing the crankcase cover and oil sump. So the first thing I need is the crankcase cover, which looks like that. That's just going to go onto this side of the engine, just matching what we can just see on the end. That's going to be held in with 2 type B screws. Just put them in very loose at the moment. And then I'll tighten that up with my heavy duty screwdriver. We have the oil sump here. That's looking like that. This is just going to go, turn it upside down, just on the bottom here. So if I've got it this way round, it's going to go like this, with these here facing that way. And again, that's going to be held into position with 2 type A screws. One in that side, and one in the other side here. And then we've just got the sump cover, which is going to go onto the top, just to hold all of that into place. That's going to go in this way. And as you can see, before I put it down, we have got some just pins at the bottom, just to push that in like that. And that is all there is to do in that stage. In stage 20, we're going to be fitting the alternator. Lots of little fiddly bits here. So the first thing I need is this bracket, which is going to hold the alternator, and a size A screw there. Now the alternator is just going to go into this hole. If this was the size of the transmission here, look, it's going to go into that hole there. And it's going to fit in this way round, just like that. So I'll get me A screw, and I'll get that screwed in. Perfect. Put that to one side, because I'm just going to assemble now the alternator. So I need that section there, and the top, and we're just going to press these together so that these pins on the outside go to the channels on the outside of the alternator. So when they're together, it looks like that. That detail is brilliant. I love it. So bringing this back over, we're going to be aligning the top of the bigger pin here of the alternator to this hole just here in the side of the pulley. So it's going to go from the inside outwards. Get that in. Just like this. Just making sure that's pushed all the way through, but I'm not giving it too much force that it breaks that pin. But there we go, that's the alternator in. Now the other side of the alternator is going to go between the 2 points of the bracket that we just put in. So it's going to take some manipulation, but it will go. Pretty confident about this one. There we go, one in. Just get the other side in here. And that's 2 in there as well. So there we go. That's the alternator in place. So now I need the fan and the drive belt. So this is what the fan looks like. And that's just going to go on top of the alternator there. And it's going to be held into place with the drive belt. So the drive belt's going to be going on to, you see what a lug here, just into the pulley there. The other side's going to through that fan that we just installed. Excellent. So now that looks like that. The very last thing we've got to do here is just turn this upside down, and if you can see the sump that we put on earlier, we've got an engine mount to put on, which looks like that. That's going to go into this hole here, and it is a shaped hole. So I'm just going to match up the shape and push this into position there, just like that. And that is all there is to do in that stage. So in stage 21 here, we're going to be installing the clutch. And to start with this, let's get the clutch bell cover out. And I just need this bracket here, which is going to go onto the bottom of it. Now this is just a push-in. As you can see, we've got some pins and a hole. So just line this up and push this together like this. There you go. Bring over the engine again, and this is going to be fitting onto this end of the engine. Just line everything up and it's going to go on just like that. So push in and it will hold itself in, no problems at all. Now next to that, where we've just put that in, we've got these 2 holes just here that are diagonal. We've got the master cylinder here to put in. Now the prongs that have got 2 sides are going to be heading towards these 2 pins just here. So if I get this in, and push it down, it should be in that way like that. And then I've got the clutch control rod which looks like this again. I'm going to put the middle section, there is a pin here to go into the bell housing here. And the other section just to go into the top of the detail we just put in. So that now looks like that. And then this is where things are going to get fun. We've got two tiny holes here. One just at the end of this section here, and one below it just in this section. We've got a spring to put in there. Now this spring has got two hooks at each end, so I need to get one into the bottom, which I've done. I'm probably going to need my tweezers here. I've already got my glasses on to hook the other one in just to the top. I really wish I could tell you that was easy. That wasn't easy at all. But when it's in, it should look like that. Wow, that was tough. Okay, we've just got the clutch release mechanism cover now to put in. Got that here. And that's just going to go over the top of this section into those two little grooves there. Push that down. And that's held that into place. So you can just see a little bit of that spring now. All the pain to get that in, and we covered it up. But that is all there is to do in that stage. In stage 22 now, we're going to be installing some essential engine parts. That's what this says. So I'm going to identify all of these pieces for you. The first one I'm getting out is the water pump. And the water pump is going to be going on the pulleys here, just between this section here and on the top here. So I'll put that in. One in that side, one in the top here. Just get that pushed in, and there we go. That's the water pump in place. This long shaft here is the oil filter, and that's going to go next to it. And again, we have got a massive lug here, which has got sort of like a keyhole pattern. That's just going to go onto this section just here, which is going to match it with a keyhole pattern. Like that. Push that all the way in. Excellent. Now on this side here, got a couple of things to put in. Between the point underneath the oil filter and this hole here, we've got an oil connector pipe. One end's going to go at the bottom of the oil filter. The other end's going to go into the side of the engine. So when that's in, it looks just like that. If you have trouble getting that in, it means you haven't pushed the oil filter in all the way. But that fits perfectly in there. Got another little engine support to put in, which is going into this hole just at the top. Like that. Make sure that's put in all the way. And then the last thing I've got is the starter motor and the solenoid. And that's just going to go onto these 2 points just here. And again, this is just a push in. So line it up and push that all the way in. Perfect. We've got, this is brilliant, we've got the dipstick here. And that's just going to fit into the hole that we've got into the sump just here. I'm smiling because I love how this dipstick looks. It's a little bit stiff to push in. I use my tweezers to help me there, but there we go. That's in. And then I've got the carburetor petrol pipe here with a little T-shaped adapter, which I'm just going to push onto one end like that there. And all we're going to do is the stem of that T-shaped adapter is going to go out to the longest lead that's coming out from the petrol pipes and the carburetor. Just push that in. So that looks like that there. And all we're going to do is bring this over to the other pipe we've got on the other side here and attach those two together. So there you go. They look just like that. And that is all there is to do in that stage. Now in stage 23 here, we've got the oil pump and breather system. So the first thing we're going to do is going to take the oil breather separator box. As you can see, we've got a keyhole pattern just on top here. That's going to match the keyhole pattern that we've got just there next to the oil filter. So push this in. Make sure it's in all the way. Now, in the end of that, I've got the oil pump, which is going to be clipped into just this side here. A little tricky to line it up, but once it is, there we go. It clips in just like that. Now, you see we've got one hole left just at the top here. That's where the oil filler cap's going to go. So I'm going to push that in. So that's in perfect like that. And then last thing I've got is the oil breather hose. That's going to go at the bottom of the oil pump, which I'm just pushing in now. And the other side is going to go into the cylinder block. Get that in. That took a little bit of fiddling around, but there you go. That's that piping as well. And that's all there is to do in that stage. So the last stage, we're abandoning the engine. I don't know if that means we've finished with the engine now, because we have got the rear frame. Nice bit of metal this is, looking just like that. I'm going to turn it over this way, and I've got some little engine supports to put in place. So we're going to be putting these engine supports in. Now they're saying what we need to do is just drive some of these screws into the holes here just to cut the threads. What I'm going to do is just pre-install a little bit of oil into these. Now the screws that we're going to be putting in here are the size A screws here. And when we put this on, we want to make sure that the fake nuts on these brackets here are facing towards the widest part of the frame here. So this is going to go on this way, just like that there. And I'll get a screw down the top. So I'll just put one in loosely for the minute. I'm just going to do the same on the other one. That's just going to go in the other side over here. And then make these nice and tight. There you go. That's those two into position. Now we do have the front supports here, which I'm guessing are going to go in here and here alike, but they haven't asked us to put those in at this stage. But that is all there is to do in this stage, and check that out. That is all there is to do in this pack. That was a pretty epic build. I love the Miura build, I'm telling you. At the moment, if I was building a car, this is the one I want to be building. Let me just show you again just some of the detail on this. This looks absolutely brilliant. Look, check that out. So that is the Lamborghini Miura. Now, if you want to get this for yourself, once again, I have put the link in the video description to the Agora Models website, and you can get this all the way from pack 1. Now, the next time you see me will be at 8 o'clock on Monday morning. We're going to be building the Volvo 122S. That's going to be fun. It's a 24-hour live stream. Don't know if it's going to go on for 24 hours. I'm hoping to have it finished within that time. Who knows, though? I've never done this before, so you know, for new ground, figuring out what we're doing as we go, which is pretty much how we work on the World of Wayne channel. But I really do hope you like that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.